Hey everyone, just learning about football. Here's the plan. You're more than welcome to come out, but this is the way the schedule roughly is going to work. We're looking at doing the first week of sharing. Thanks. There's the code for a Google Classroom for Luther Football. Looking at this week here, this is our week here. That if you want equipment, we want to be able to do some equipment here, but you have to first sign up and let me know and look at the next sheet here, take a look at it. Next week, we'd be on the field, also sign out equipment here if we need it. We're going to be on the field October 6th. That's next Tuesday, Thursday, Friday on the field from 3:45 to 5:30 with no equipment. Then we'll go helmet and harness on the 13th, 15th, and 16th. And it'll be full equipment from October 20th, 22nd, and 23rd. Might get some games in, depends how many people come and how that's working out. The other thing we're going to do and need, and it's not area that goes, items you want to bring, grass cleats. You need to bring a $30 check for lots of different reasons, especially if you wish to play football in the spring or do anything with Football Saskatchewan things. Temperature appropriate clothing, water bottle. I'm not sure about changing. We got to work about where you're going to change. Okay. But that's just let you know that's the way it goes. Okay. Every person is welcome to come out, but once you come, we expect you to come out for all 9 days. We don't expect you to, I might go to one or two. No, we're practicing and we're moving on. Okay. So especially if we're going to have a game, we can't put you in a game or put you in a competitive situation if you haven't had a chance to come out and practice. Okay. All right. Take care. Good luck with the other sports and hope to see you soon. Take care.
Hi there, Luther College High School community. My name is Pastor Sarah Dymund. I am the pastor at Trinity Evangelical Lutheran Church here in Regina, and I am also Rowan and Lila's mom. I have been asked by Mr. Steve to present chapel for the occasion of Orange Shirt Day and to talk a bit about our Christian response to various Indigenous issues and concerns that are part of our reality here in Canada. On the one hand, that's kind of a ridiculous thing to ask me to address those issues because, as you can tell, I'm very, very pasty. I am as white can be. So Indigenous experiences are not something that I can tell from a first-person perspective. So those are stories that we need to seek out from people who have lived those experiences. And that's a huge part of our Christian response. I can speak as a Christian and as a Christian leader in our community. And the most important thing we can do to build relationships with people is listen to other people's stories and validate their personal experiences and lives by honoring them with hearing them and believing them. That's true of all kinds of people. And it's essential in our community to listen to those stories because we don't know what we don't know. And unless we're incredibly arrogant or incredibly stupid, we do know that we don't know everything. So one of the things that it's really important for us to do is to acknowledge that our experience isn't universal, isn't normal for everybody. The things that we take for granted are not the same for everybody else. And then we get a chance to come to a place where we can hear of the things that have been done by our community, by our faith community, by our people of our ethnicity, of our culture, of our government, from our society's point of view, that are harmful to various other people. And we need to, from a place of humility, be able to hear that and respond. And a Christian response is never to maintain the status quo. That's not what Jesus did. Jesus didn't avoid uncomfortable things. He didn't tell people who were suffering to go away and leave him alone and be quiet so everything would look nice. Christianity isn't a nice religion. It is a movement of people founded on God coming and entering into the messiness of our reality and reaching out to those who are on the margins and centering their stories and their voices and validating them as sacred and vital. And that's where we as Christians come to the reality of the Indigenous experience in Canada, because those are stories that have been silenced and marginalized for centuries, and they need to be told. And as we start to hear them, and we start to hear of the wrongdoings and the suffering that are happening to beloved children of God, we can then choose what to do with our voices. And that's one, to center those other stories, but then also to use what we have, the privilege and agency we have, to try and speak out for justice and peace and the importance of all those non-centralized, marginalized stories. I'm talking to you here this evening with all the motorcycles and the vrooming traffic behind us on Albert Street from the west lawn of the legislature. Our provincial government meets in the building right over there, and this piece of land is one that there's a petition going around to have this piece of land hopefully designated to be Indigenous sacred space, so that people who have things that they want to say, issues they want to pray about, concerns they want to protest, can come here and have that on treaty land be a tiny piece of this park designated where Indigenous people can be safe to express their needs and wants and feelings. Not that long ago, on this piece of land, a young man named Tristan DeRocher set up a teepee and did a ceremonial fast for 44 days where he ate nothing, he drank tea, to bring awareness to the suicide epidemic that is rampant in northern Saskatchewan. This is important. People are dying, and our government voted down a bill that would do something to try and make a difference about that. So Tristan walked all the way from Arange. He walked 635 kilometers, and then he fasted and prayed here in this space. And the government tried to get him kicked out. Fortunately, that was not successful, and a judge ruled that he did have the right to be here and be faithful. That judge did a really good thing in the form of allyship to say, no, this is important. This needs to be heard. This major issue where people are dying is a bigger deal than a minor bylaw against sleeping overnight in the park. One of the reasons I'm bringing this to your attention is that the time that Tristan spent here has been really, really powerful for me and for my family, for our faith lives, and how we think about how we take our Christianity and respond to Indigenous issues in our community. We started coming maybe about halfway through Tristan's fast, and we would come every evening and we would just sing and pray and walk around the teepee and look at the ever increasing number of photographs of people in our province who have died by suicide in recent years. And we really didn't want to make it about us or overstep our bounds, and so we talked to Tristan and made sure he was okay with that. And one of the things he said was that he really appreciated us in our white Christianity coming and praying, because that affirmed the validity of his spiritual fast. He was doing his own traditional spiritual rituals, and we, from our privileged position of mainline Protestantism, were able to affirm the validity of that and be there to have his back. And also to pray, because this is another thing Tristan said, us coming and praying for these people dying shows that this isn't an Indigenous problem. It isn't a northern problem. If people are dying, we should all be bothered. This is our problem. And we can use our faith and our voice and our privilege to affirm the value of each life. Every child matters. I would strongly encourage you to go to the Walking with Our Angels Facebook page and just read some of the articles that are posted and stories of what Tristan has done, and the stuff he has brought to light, because it will open your eyes and it will break your heart, and that's a good thing. We need to be broken wide open by the suffering that people are going through, because if we're not, if it doesn't hurt us, then we're saying those lives don't matter. Those lives didn't matter. Those people who are dying because they are in despair and not getting the help and resources they need and don't know where they fit in the world, we're saying they don't matter. We're saying that the people whose communities and cultures have been ripped apart by the residential school system, that those lives don't matter. And that's just not true. Those lives do matter. And we have a voice, and we can use it for good. And I invite you to do so. Thank you for listening to me today. If you have any questions or comments, just ask Mr. Steve and he can tell you how to get in touch with me. Take care.